Asia Wilson's pretty unlikable and pretty mean-spirited, despite all the dressing up.
Asia Wilson is upset about Caitlin Clark's possible move to Europe, feeling she deserves more attention as the top star.
But Asia Wilson certainly has this entitlement. They gaslight and drag other people into it.
Asia Wilson is now attempting to block Caitlin Clark's potential move to Europe, a surprising shift after previously criticizing Caitlin for being privileged. Despite her past comments, Asia now wants Caitlin to stay in the WNBA.
Us as black women, Paige reminds me a lot of you. Like, you say you're not really about me. And she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point.
Asia is finally realizing Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA, though her entitlement is shocking. Asia still believes she's the star and deserves all the attention, while it's actually Caitlin who's made a significant difference in transforming the league.
What entitled players in the WNBA just can't seem to understand is, you get what you put in, and right now, you are getting exactly what you deserve.
Let's be honest, before Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson didn't get much attention. While she puts on a nice front, her recent jealousy, like many other WNBA players, has become more evident.
This is what I learned about Miss Wilson. You look at her numbers, you're like, wow, she is the best player. She must be given credit for that. But Jason, you know what I've really learned though, as I delve deeper into this and I get to know her more from a periphery standpoint? Wow, she's unlikable. That's the thing that I've learned. That she is more and more unlikable. She's abrasive, and she actually hurts the cause as the best player in the league.
If Caitlin Clark leaves for Europe, the WNBA will be left in shambles, with Asia Wilson fading into the background as she did before. Asia knows she's not the main attraction, yet tries to convince the media otherwise by flaunting her MVP award. Asia, you're not fooling anyone.
Don't y'all want a greater profile? Don't y'all want more notoriety? Don't y'all want more hype?
Caitlin Clark's move to the EuroLeague could have inspired other WNBA stars to explore international opportunities, setting a trend for future players. However, this potential game-changer took an unexpected twist when Asia Wilson intervened, disrupting Clark's plans and derailing the promising deal.
Now, Asia Wilson was a more dominating player and deserved to be the MVP, and unanimous.
Wilson's interference in the deal wasn't just a minor hiccup. It was a calculated move to block Clark from capitalizing on the opportunity. Fresh off her WNBA MVP win, Wilson reportedly felt she deserved to be the face of the EuroLeague, not Clark. This conflict transcended basketball or personal preference, highlighting a deeper rivalry and competitive tension between two of the league's top stars. Wilson's actions underscore the growing power struggle within the WNBA as these athletes vie for global recognition and influence.
Like, she understands her privilege. It's like pushes her over the top in a sense. It reminds me a lot of you. And I mean, that's a combo.
From Wilson's perspective, her MVP title and established status in the WNBA should have made her the top choice for European teams. The idea of Caitlin Clark being selected over her, despite Wilson's accolades, likely felt like a personal insult. Wilson's actions seem driven by the belief that she has already proven herself as a dominant force in the league and should be prioritized for international opportunities. In her eyes, Clark, who is still relatively new, hasn't earned the right to overshadow more seasoned players like herself. Yet, some still insist that Caitlin hasn't been targeted this year, ignoring the clear rivalry and power play at hand.
While Caitlin is fantastic, and I think she's going to have an incredible career in the WNBA, there are women that were worthy of coverage prior to her arriving, and I just will not be silenced when it comes to that.
This isn't the first time Wilson has faced off with Clark over high-profile deals. Wilson previously tried to block Clark's Nike endorsement, hoping to land the deal herself. That incident hinted at their growing rivalry, but the Europe controversy has intensified it. By stepping in to derail Clark's international opportunity, Wilson has shown just how personal and competitive their opposition has become. The tension between these WNBA stars has escalated beyond basketball, turning into a battle for influence and recognition off the court as well.
How do you miss an opportunity like that? How do you not capitalize? It doesn't make any sense at all. And playing the politics where oh, we need to release Asia's shoe first. Well, no, it's not Caitlyn's fault that you haven't done anything for Asia yet.
With her MVP recognition, Wilson likely anticipated receiving increased attention from fans, sponsors, and international teams. The emergence of Clark, a relatively new player, as a focal point in discussions about the EuroLeague, felt like a slight against Wilson's accomplishments. Clark's rapid ascent has shifted the narrative in a way that seems unjust to Wilson, who expected to be celebrated as the WNBA's most valuable player. Instead, fans and media have increasingly focused on Clark, fueling a sense of competition that transcends the basketball court. Wilson feels the need to defend her status and prevent Clark from seizing opportunities she believes rightfully belong to her. This dynamic has intensified the rivalry, creating friction between two of the league's top stars.
Caitlin Clark's the most valuable, most important person in the WNBA this year, and should have been unanimous Rookie of the Year.
Wilson's attempt to block Clark's Europe deal is not an isolated incident. It reflects a troubling pattern of behavior that has developed over time. This rivalry can be traced back to a previous conflict involving a potential Nike endorsement deal. Reports suggest that Wilson sought to interfere with Clark's efforts to secure the contract, aiming to position herself as Nike's premier WNBA representative instead. While competition for lucrative endorsements is common among athletes, the manner in which this rivalry has unfolded indicates that Wilson perceives Clark as a direct threat to her career. The Nike incident was an early warning sign of the escalating tension between the two players. For Clark, landing a deal with Nike would have been a significant achievement, solidifying her status as one of the premier names in basketball. However, Wilson, already an established star, wasn't willing to share the limelight. By attempting to thwart Clark's Nike deal, Wilson showed she was prepared to take extreme measures to protect her position at the top of the league. This ongoing rivalry has only intensified, highlighting the fierce competition between these two talented players.
Nike lucked into the marketing chance of a generation, and they're using that to advertise old product. Why is it happening this way? Now here's the money. Based on conversations with people in the know, it indeed has something to do with the WNBA MVP and Nike athlete, A'ja Wilson. A'ja will be offended.
For Wilson, Clark's rapid ascent wasn't just a challenge to her position. It served as a stark reminder that the landscape of the WNBA is evolving. Rather than embracing this change, Wilson has opted to compete with Clark for opportunities, leading to a rivalry that has grown increasingly personal. Blocking Clark's Europe deal was not solely about protecting her own interests. It was a statement of intent. Wilson aimed to remind everyone that she remains a formidable force and deserves recognition as the league's top player. At the core of this controversy lies a deeper issue: personal jealousy. Wilson's actions indicate that her rivalry with Clark transcends professional competition. It's not merely about basketball or endorsement deals. It's a struggle for recognition and relevance in a league that is shifting beneath her. Clark's arrival has disrupted the WNBA's dynamics, forcing Wilson, once at the pinnacle, to vie for attention in ways she never anticipated. This growing tension underscores the complexities of their relationship and the pressures of maintaining status in an evolving environment.
A'ja Wilson, 28 years old, 1,000 points in the regular season. Why is that not the biggest story out at the moment? And why are we talking about Caitlin Clark?
Exactly. Why when A'ja was releasing a shoe were we talking about Caitlin Clark?
Before Clark entered the league, Wilson was already one of the WNBA's brightest stars, accumulating numerous accolades and endorsement deals. However, Clark's arrival has dramatically shifted the narrative. Suddenly, Clark is the one garnering media attention, endorsement opportunities, and fan support, making it challenging for Wilson to relish her success without feeling overshadowed. This jealousy is apparent not only in Wilson's actions off the court, but also in her remarks about Clark. Wilson has suggested that Clark's path to success has been easier, framing her rise as a product of privilege rather than hard work. These comments reveal Wilson's frustration with how the spotlight has shifted away from her, despite her belief that she has rightfully earned her place at the top. The dynamic between them has intensified, creating a rivalry that complicates their professional relationship.
Who was unanimous MVP, which, by the way, is the first unanimous MVP in the NBA or the WNBA to ever not make the finals, which is something else. Fans are they're gonna share that. It does not mean that we are misogynistic or we're just hating on Asia. No, it's just this is what happens when a team loses.
One of the clearest indicators of Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA is the significant decline in viewership when she isn't playing. Clark has emerged as a fan magnet, drawing in audiences who may not have previously followed women's basketball. However, when she's off the court, the numbers tell a troubling story. Fans tune out and engagement drops, even with star players like A'ja Wilson still competing. This trend highlights a stark reality. Clark isn't just a talented player. She has become the lifeblood of the league's increasing popularity.
Here's the reality. It wasn't what it is. The quality of basketball may have been up to snuff, and you had somebody as popular as Cheryl Swoops, who had her own signature shoe, had to deal with Nike and all of this other stuff. But the bottom line is, very few people gave a damn.
Wilson and other top players have continued to perform at a high level, yet fan interest remains lukewarm. This discrepancy highlights a painful truth for Wilson. Talent alone is not enough to command attention. Clark's unique charisma and dynamic style of play have captivated fans in a way that Wilson, despite her many achievements, has struggled to replicate. While the league has always featured talented players, Clark's arrival has injected a fresh sense of excitement that not only attracts new fans, but also energizes existing ones. Without Clark, it appears many fans lose interest, even when other stars like Wilson are playing at the peak of their abilities. As the league evolves, it becomes increasingly evident that raw talent is insufficient for growing the game. Players must connect with fans, create memorable moments, and generate excitement, qualities that Clark possesses in abundance. For Wilson, coming to terms with the fact that Clark is the primary driver of fan interest has been a difficult pill to swallow, further intensifying the rivalry between them.
They decide what they want to do. We can point out how wrong it is. We can point out that that's a reality that shouldn't be a reality. But what we can't do is say, this is what matters.
Right.
That doesn't, when the audience was telling you, no, something else matters.
The sudden shift in focus toward Clark has disrupted the existing dynamics in the league, leaving some players feeling overlooked and underappreciated. Rather than celebrating Clark's success, these players have expressed frustration, viewing her achievements as a threat instead of a collective victory for women's basketball. This resentment is evident both on and off the court, as Clark has become the most fouled player in the WNBA, with opponents targeting her aggressively. While some of this can be attributed to her style of play, it also highlights the rising tension within the league. Players frustrated by Clark's success seem determined to challenge her dominance, even if it means resorting to physical play to assert themselves and reclaim the spotlight.
And they also need to, I don't know if an apology is warranted to Caitlin Clark, or they just need to, in general, do better.
The resentment toward Clark also speaks to a deeper issue: the difficulty of accepting change. Many players have spent years building their careers, only to see Clark arrive and immediately become the face of the league. This rapid shift has been difficult for some to accept, leading to jealousy and criticism. Instead of recognizing the positive impact Clark has had on the league, some players focus on what they perceive as unfair treatment, namely, that Clark has received more attention and opportunities than they did when they were coming up.
Caitlin is amazing in and of herself. She's an incredible basketball player. I think I can say that she's great, and I can say that there are 143 women that helped get the league to this place, that she could take it over the top, and it's okay. Like, that's not an affront to anybody.
Despite the backlash she faces, Clark has been instrumental in bringing about significant improvements for WNBA players. Her popularity and influence have helped drive changes that benefit the entire league, including the introduction of private jets for player travel and an increase in wages. These developments have made life easier for many players, addressing long-standing complaints about travel conditions and salaries. Without her presence, it's unlikely that the WNBA would have been able to secure the resources necessary to offer these benefits. Yet, despite these contributions, Clark continues to face criticism from within the league. Rather than acknowledging the positive impact she has had, some players focus on their frustrations with her success, fueling the rivalry and resentment toward her.
Many of you were the very same ones that was pointing the finger and we don't want or need your support. So in theory, you're getting what you want and you should be happy for the lower rating. So be careful what you wish for.
The irony of the situation is hard to ignore. Clark's influence has made life better for the very players who now criticize her. The introduction of private jets and higher wages is a direct result of the increased attention and revenue that Clark has brought to the league. Without her, these improvements might not have been possible. Yet instead of gratitude, Clark has encountered hostility and resentment, highlighting the complicated dynamics within the WNBA.
Don't agree with it. I thought she would be unanimous. I mean, it's not even close. Because I said the most important person in the league is Caitlin Clark and should be a top 5, if not, it should have been a top 3 MVP candidate.
Wilson's decision to interfere with Clark's Europe deal is perhaps the most telling example of the jealousy and rivalry that exists within the WNBA. By stepping in to block the contract, Wilson made it clear that she sees Clark not just as a competitor, but as a threat to her own legacy. This move wasn't just about protecting Wilson's career, it was about preventing Clark from expanding her influence beyond the WNBA.
Caitlin, that could be it. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Right from the inches away! No!
The Europe deal controversy highlights the challenges Clark faces as she continues to reshape the WNBA. While her influence has brought about positive changes, it has also generated resentment from those who feel threatened by her success. As the WNBA evolves, players like Wilson must find new ways to adapt and thrive. Whether this means embracing the changes Clark has brought or finding her own path forward, Wilson will need to navigate the complexities of competition and collaboration. The opposition may be intense, but one thing is certain. Caitlin Clark will leave a lasting impact on the WNBA, influencing the game and inspiring the next generation of players. Fans and analysts alike will be watching closely to see how her story unfolds, but she's already an amazing talent and a star in the making to many. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.